Well, folks, California's 45th congressional district was expected to be a major battleground in the 2026 House elections. And we have some big news. Michelle Steele, the former congresswoman who used to represent this district until she lost in 2024, has just announced that she will not run again in 2026, which is a major shockwave to Orange County Republicans. There is no doubt about this. This is a major blow to the Republican Party and their chances to pick up seats in California in 2026. The 45th Congressional District has been a pivotal swing district. It covers most of Orange County and some of Los Angeles County and faces a critical moment as the GOP aims to reclaim this seat from the Democrat Derek Tran, who won by less than 600 votes in 2024. Now, Michelle Steele's decision to sidestep this after her narrow loss in 2024 opens the door for new Republican contenders in 2026. But today we are going to be unpacking the implications of Michelle Steele's decision not to run in California's 45th congressional district. So like we said, California's 45th congressional district includes areas like Garden Grove, Westminster, and Bueno Park, with a large Asian American population, which is specifically Vietnamese is the overarching ethnicity in this congressional district. Now, historically, this has been a very competitive district. You go back now, before redistricting, this was actually Katie Porter's district. Remember, this is a seat that was held by Republicans. This was a just in 2016 was a Republican plus 17. Let's go back even further. 2008, there was redistricting before that. Let's see. Right here, look at this. 16 points, 2012, 16 points for the Republican Party. Fast forward to 2018, like we said, Katie Porter, who is now running for governor in the state of California, flipped this seat in 2018. Obviously, redistricting occurred in 2022, which opened up this possibility for Michelle Steele to run. She ran and won this election by roughly 5 percentage points in 2022. Now, previous to that, Michelle Steele represented California's 48th congressional district. She had won this seat by roughly about 2 percentage points in 2020 when she was initially elected, ran in the 45th after redistricting in 2022, and then lost to Derek Tran in 2024 by roughly, like we said, 600 votes we're talking about here. This is just a hair over 600 votes she lost this election by. Derek Tran received 158,264 votes to Michelle Steele's 157,611 votes. It was a mere 613 vote margin. In this district's toss-up status, per the Cook Political Report, and most different, websites and different organizations that classify different races believe this is a pure toss-up race, making it a prime target for the GOP in the 2026 House elections. We know that in the district, economic concerns like housing costs and inflation dominate voter priorities, which that could be big for the Republican Party. I think the Republican Party has a lot that they can do on inflation, on the economy. They have a lot in this one big beautiful bill that they can run on. But obviously, Michelle Steele says, look, I'm done. And the reality is Michelle Steele, I believe she's in her 70s at this point. Michelle Steele, she's 70 years old. At this point, you want to spend time with your family, and that totally makes sense. But Michelle Steele, who is a Korean American, she was born in South Korea, she's an American immigrant, served as a strong voice for working class families, especially the Vietnamese working class families in her district, advocating for lower taxes and increased police funding in her district. Now, in 2024, or I should say throughout her bid from 2022 to 2024, in the 45th congressional district, she resisted tax hikes. She supported Israel and showcased her conservative principles during her congressional tenure. And in 2024, she faced a brutal campaign with Democrat Derek Tran, leveraging identity politics and heavy outside funding to flip this seat in 2024. Now, scandals plagued the Tran campaign, including false claims about his Vietnamese fluency and military record, yet he was still narrowly able to prevail in this election. Now, Steele conceded And it was gracious. She emphasized her faith and her commitment to her constituents, but her bold decision not to run in 2026, I think, does stun a lot of people. I think a lot of people thought that she would run again in 2026 to try and flip this seat back. Now, Steele announced that she will not seek re-election to reclaim this seat in 2026 in the House elections, which really reshapes this entire race here. And simply, it has a lot of implications on the overall House majority. Look, right now, Republicans have 219 seats to the Democrats' 212. Democrats need to flip a handful, 4 or 5 seats, 3 or 4 seats, if they want to retake the majority in 2026. Now, obviously, you have a lot that's going on. Redistricting, especially in Texas, in California, in Indiana, in Ohio, in Florida, it could change everything. Now, based on what we've seen, we believe Republicans, if they go, balls to the walls, pedal to the metal, all the way down, we believe Republicans could pick up maybe, they could net maybe 10 seats. California is going to redistrict. Texas will redistrict. Florida, Ohio has to redistrict. Indiana. We could see what happens here. I think, just purely based on redistricting, Republicans could probably, net 5 to 10 seats in 2026. But obviously, there's so many risks that are still associated with that at the end of the day. And now, Texas is talking about how they're unveiling a map where they could eliminate 10 Democrat seats. They could put Democrats into 3 congressional districts. 3 congressional districts. And now they do make some big points. There will be the first black majority district in Texas. There will be like 5 majority Hispanic districts in Texas. So those are some big things that you're going to see there. But ultimately, between Texas and Florida, Ohio, Indiana, maybe Missouri, you throw that in there, maybe. But ultimately, we will just have to see what happens in this election here. But I think this is a major blow to the Republican Party in California's 45th congressional district. It really is. This is a district that Republicans, even after redistricting, they believe they would still have an upper hand in. And her decision, I think, really reflects a strategic retreat, possibly avoiding another grueling campaign in a district that has trended to the left in recent years, and conservatives must now rally behind a new candidate in this congressional district to counter Derek Tran's incumbency advantage in this critical swing district. Now, Michelle Steele's decision puts pressure on the GOP to find a strong contender. They need a strong contender in the 45th congressional district, and candidates like Mark Leonard have emphasized easing financial strains and securing the border, issues that will resonate with a lot of the district's working class voters. And trust me, Tran has a lot of vulnerabilities. His 2024 scandals in his low 60% traffic commission attendance, I think were big vulnerabilities for him. You're showing up to work 60% of the time? Gosh, I wish I could just show up to work Monday through Wednesday and call it good Thursday and Friday. Look, and I think the fact that he has not backed a lot of these popular proposals from the Republican Party. Maybe they're not extremely popular right now, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like saying that Republicans aren't popular, Donald Trump isn't popular. Well, yeah, Donald Trump may be underwater, but if you look at Democrat polling, Donald Trump's underwater by 3 or 4 points and Democrats are underwater by 25 points. It's like, we're not really in the same ballpark here. Like maybe the one big beautiful bill wasn't super popular on its face, but when you ask people, do you want your taxes to go up 60% next year? Well, no, that's not popular by any means. And you mix this together with the GOP's slim House majority right now, which makes every seat critical, especially the 45th. It makes it so critical that they find the right contender to run in this election. And redistricting efforts by California Democrats, which they say can eliminate in this district or in this state 5 Republican seats, could complicate the GOP's chances, but I think conservatives will remain determined in this state. But what is up next for the GOP? The GOP must unite behind a candidate who can appeal to the district's diverse voters, especially the Asian Americans, without relying on identity politics. Messages on economics, tackling inflation and housing costs will be a key to winning back California's 45th congressional district in 2026 or in future elections. And this big decision leaves a legacy of conservative advocacy from Michelle Steele, inspiring new candidates to carry the torch for limited government, for fiscal discipline in the federal government. And I think there is some excitement around different candidates, and the GOP will be ready to mobilize in 2026. But folks, to wrap things up here, Michelle Steele's decision not to run in 2026 has set the stage for a fierce battle in California's 45th congressional district, not only in a general election, but in a Republican primary. And the GOP has a chance to reclaim a swing district, but it will take a strong candidate and a sharp strategy to defeat Derek Tran. But folks, stay tuned for updates on this critical race. We will be here every step of the way to let you know what's going on and to bring you the news. But as always, folks, that is going to wrap things up for today. Drop down below, hit that subscribe button, make sure you never miss another video from us again in the future, and folks, we will catch you next time.